This is the newest movie from the A24 film company, a company that has made, I think, a lot of very good movies. It's directed by Ti West, who up until this point has not really had a huge movie. He's had a couple that have done okay and received generally positive reviews from critics alike. But needless to say, this is his big break for sure. There are a number of big actors in this movie, such as Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Martin Henderson, or as I like to say, Matthew McConaughey wannabe, Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi, Brittany Snow, Scott Campbell, and Stephen York are amongst the main characters in the film. And going into this movie, I pretty much already knew almost exactly how I was going to feel about it. I don't know if you guys ever have those experiences, if you're going to see a movie or you're about to put on an album and you just already know how you're gonna like it or maybe not like it. This to me just had everything going for it. A24 being behind the production on this thing. A great cast, cool concepts that I was aware of, although I hadn't seen any trailers for the movie, so there was a lot that I didn't know about it. Hearing all the buzz about it before it came out, and also a couple of people that I personally know that saw this movie before me and had said that they really liked it. The puzzle was being built. It was all coming together. That's first of all, it's a really dumb analogy. I'm sorry. But I knew I was gonna at least like this movie, if not love it. What a crazy movie this was. Several moments that had my jaw wide open. Like, did that really just happen? The basic premise for this movie is that there is this group of people, three of them being the actors, two of them being the filmmakers, and then the other person being kind of the businessman of the group. He makes all the phone calls, he arranges everything, does all the professional stuff. And they're a group of people that rent out this small little house next to someone else's house to make some adult films. And it also takes place in the year 1979, during the 1970s, which is notoriously like the golden age of porn. So I mean, even just hearing about that, like, wait, a horror movie that revolves around people making porn? I mean, I'm down, don't get me wrong, like, that sounds cool, but it's a weird concept, definitely unlike any premise, any setup to a horror movie that I think I've ever seen. And I mean, I have a lot I could say about this movie, a lot of praises and things I would like to talk about, but I honestly don't want to talk about all of it, just because I would love people to go into this movie somewhat blindfolded. Obviously, if you're watching this review, you're gonna expect to see a couple of things, but I don't want you to know everything about it, and I want to keep some things a secret until you actually go see it, because I really do want to implore you guys to see this movie. It's so good. I thought all the cast did an excellent job. I said Martin Henderson is a lot like Matthew McConaughey, and I mean, I think it works very well. I thought he was great. And I'll give props to Mia Goth as well. She plays what I think most people would say is the main character of the movie. She's like on all the posters as well. But I really want to just give props to her, because she plays another character in this movie. I'm not going to say who it is, but when I found out that was her, I was honestly speechless. It's freaking crazy just how diverse these two different characters are that she plays. And I mean, geez, well done on her part. And yeah, I mean, I liked all the other performances. Jenna Ortega and Scott Campbell play the two filmmakers that are in the group. I think Scott's character being the actual director, while Jenna would just handle like the sounds and the lighting and all that stuff. And then I thought Kid Cudi and Brittany Snow were both very good as well. Definitely provide, I think, most of the comedy in the movie. They're the two main actors in the group, and there's just a lot of funny little jokes and moments that come from those two characters and their dynamic. I was very impressed with the direction by Ti West in this film. He does a really good job at calling back to certain moments that happen at different parts of the film and really connecting the dots in a way, which I understand is somewhat of a vague way to explain what I'm trying to say here, but he calls back to certain moments that happen earlier on in the film, or certain shots even that I thought were done to a really great effect. And there are two main villains in this movie. Really only one, though, I think you could argue, but two villainous characters that inhabit this film, which I was interested to know about, because going into this movie, that was really one of the main things I was curious about, was like, okay, so where's the horror going to come from? I know that it's the 70s and there's all these guys making porn, but where's all the scares going to come from? And it really does come from these two characters and from their setting. There's this lake that's right outside of their house, and that's all I'll say about that. And they touch on a very specific sort of dilemma with these two characters. Initially, when this became obvious to me while I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, that's the motivation, really? Like, that's why they're gonna do the things they do? That's kind of dumb. But I gotta say, by the end of the movie, it's made to be a very compelling motive for specifically the female character. Pearl is her name, and I kind of felt for her by the end of the film. You know, even though her and her husband Howard do these terrible things in the movie, I kind of start to sympathize with these characters a little bit. And that's partially due to also other parts in the movie where we learn about their history and their relationship and where they're coming from, which was definitely not something I was expecting at all to happen. The movie looks great as well. It totally captures the 1970s aesthetic, not only down to obviously their hair and their clothing, but even just the look of a convenience store that a couple characters go into early on in the film. The cinematography done by Elliot Rocket is excellent here, and most notably in the scenes that revolve around the lake or just the general environment around this couple's house. There are some really beautiful shots to be seen. And there's some gore in this movie too. There's a good amount of gore, blood, guts, organs, you name it. It does not hold back on that at all, on any of the violence in the film. It is absolutely unhinged and awesome. And I think I've said basically everything I want to say about it. Obviously, like I said, there are a couple of things I left out. I did actually say more than I thought I anticipated I would. But I mean, whatever. I don't think I spoiled anything, so you should be fine if you watch this and you haven't seen the movie yet. I think you'll be fine. X is gonna get an A from me. This is not only my kind of horror movie, but it's just my kind of movie in general. This is totally up my alley. It's got an interesting story and premise. It's funny, it's suspenseful, it's scary at times. I just hope it gets the recognition it deserves, honestly. I hope people go to see this movie and it does well at the box office. And I mean, I know that like some people think that awards don't matter, but to me they are important because it's recognizing arts and the greatness in arts. So I really hope that this does get recognition from some of the big award shows, although I could definitely see that not happening just because it's not like a big name director. Yeah, it's messed up, honestly, the way that the system works. It's ridiculous. Other than, obviously, you know, I want to know your thoughts on the movie. If you have seen it, I would be really curious to know if there has been a time when you were gonna put on an album or watch a movie, and you did already know how you were gonna feel about it. You had a very good idea of whether you were gonna like it or dislike it. Let me know if you've had an experience like that. And obviously, what is it? No, don't just say like, yes, I have. Like, no, tell me about it. What is it? That's all I got for my review of X. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and peace out.